Article 79 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, as amended, defines the functions of Parliament, which directly outlines the constitutional roles and responsibilities of a Member of Parliament.
Motion for reconsideration of the Appropriation Bill 2024 as returned by His Excellency.
There are four major roles of Member of Parliament, and this includes legislative role or lawmaking, stipulated under Article 79, Clause 1, where Parliament is empowered to make laws on any matter for the peace, order, development, and good governance of Uganda.
Honourable members, I want to request you.
MPs also play an oversight role. This involves scrutinizing government policies, actions, and administration to ensure accountability and transparency in the use of public resources. The third role is budget approval or appropriation and representation as mandated under Article 79, Clause 3.
They may not be crying in Ukedia, but I have seen here those who are crying for cattle are also crying. These ones are crying for businesses that are being demolished.
However, when you look at it from a distance, one would think it is simply about sticking to these responsibilities. For MPs, it's about balancing what the Constitution requires and meeting the expectation of the voters. Geoffrey Feta, the Member of Parliament for Ayivu East constituency, is serving his last term before handing over office to the newly elected MP. We sat down to understand these dynamics. According to Geoffrey, often voters use different lenses and scales to measure the performance of their legislators. This includes attending to funerals, paying school fees, contributing to constituency events, and attending wedding parties, among others.
The expectation of the voters is you, the MP, should appear in every funeral in person. When they are expecting you to represent them on the floor of Parliament, they expect you to be in the funeral. They expect you to send the money in every funeral. They expect you to treat sick people in hospitals. They expect you to transport the dead bodies. Even those you support to do the same things, it's not a guarantee that they will support you when the next election comes. So sometimes that, the balance of what is supposed to be done and what you actually do and what eventually pleases the voters, you do not understand. Two, sometimes there is a lot of propaganda. New candidates come, say, I would have done for you this, I would have done for you this, I would have done for you. They make a lot of empty promises.
With the new trend in Arua, where a Member of Parliament does not serve for multiple terms, how does this affect representation? Feta says this lowers the quality of representation since newcomers still have to learn.
So the representation goes down because you send a new person to go and learn, and that person, after learning, is sent back home. You then send another one to go and learn. That one, after learning, is sent back home. It doesn't affect the member, it affects the constituency he or she is representing. That's one. But also, too, increasingly, I have seen at the national platform, there is a push against members who stand their ground and push for their constituencies. If you are bold, if you speak the truth, if you put government to task during elections, some elements connive and fight you vigorously. For instance, in my constituency, there were forces that were deliberate, and I know the forces.
On a scale, he says he has achieved a lot and does not regret losing. I asked, what next for you after the loss?
5 years to live in Parliament. When I went there, I knew I was representing a constituency where over 80% of the people are not connected to electricity, yet in the city. I knew I had the challenge of a constituency without the health center for. I needed to lobby for health center for. I knew I had a constituency where some counties do not have secondary school. I needed to lobby for one.
The West Nile Parliamentary Caucus, a unified non-partisan platform for members of parliament from West Nile sub-region, was formed collectively to lobby for development of the region, address infrastructural gaps, and tackling regional challenges. With Feta being the chairperson, I asked, What have they achieved and what will he hand over to his successor?
We denied the resources for 1 year. So 2023, 2024, 2025, UNRWA roads were very bad. You cannot explain as an MP. You're supposed to know and understand why this road is not done. You're supposed to ensure the road is done. But because there are no resources, there's no authority in charge.
The members of the 12th Parliament are expected to be sworn in this May. Rashid Adid, NTV News in Arua.